Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, as well as our other streaming channels. And tonight, we would say that last week we had our introduction show. Julia's sweating on her forehead already. Last week we had our introduction show, and tonight we kick off our crown rules, and we're going to start off with chapter 1 in the beginning. What's up, Julia?
Nothing much, Quentin. How are you this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. Everything is well. A little rainy outside, but other than that, ready to get this new chapter off. We did our introduction show last week, and this week we start off and we go straight to the bat, asking our chat. We want everybody in the chat to say, "What is your gift?" Miss Carla said, "Hey there, I'm a genius at something. My gift could be anything." She went right in answering the question.
I love it. What is
So we
your
asked that.
gift?
We asked everybody in the chat, what is your gift? So what's going on, Julia? How we let's get right into let's not even play with the vegetables. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this thing.
So, last week we discussed that the book is really about taking a journey to your throne, which is your seat of power. And along that journey, you're able to, create some very fundamental jewels for your crown. And for anybody who's just tuning in, the whole premise comes from the idea that we call each other kings and queens. And I just wanted to try to understand that a little bit better. And when it comes to kings and queens, they do wear crowns to signify their power and to signify their roles. And just looking at, what is important for us to potentially focus on as we're going through our journey in life. And so the first jewel that's created for the crown or your crown is your gift. So do we have any other people in the chat responding on what their gift is?
Not yet. They haven't responded on what their gift is yet.
Okay.
So Miss Carla said, "Hey there, I'm a genius at something. My gift could be anything." So Miss Carla, I asked you, since you said you're a genius at something, tell us what you're a genius at.
Genius at. Mm-hmm.
We want to know, because when we speak about the gift, now I know what the gift is, but everybody may not understand what their particular gift is. I know what gift that Julia is pertaining to in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to know, Miss Carla. You said you're a genius. Let us know what you're a genius at.
And it's interesting, right? When we talk about gifts, sometimes we talk about our talents.
So Miss Carla, I'm gonna tell you what she put up.
What she say?
Someone said comedy.
Okay.
Miss Carla said getting in trouble.
Okay.
So that's more of a gift and a curse.
A curse, how so, Quincy?
Because if getting in trouble is a gift, I mean, who wants to get in trouble purposely?
All the time, right? You have to get yourself out. So someone else said comedy.
So like, even in the beginning of the book, and what you just said in the beginning, your opening, you said, and even when you did the opening to the show, the audio, you explained that so many times we hear the thing, "Oh, that's my queen. She's a queen. She's a queen. She's a queen." Um, Not to get too much into it, is it possible that everybody is not a queen?
I would say that the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what do we mean when we say that? That was the initial question I had, which kind of spurred the book on, because everybody at the time, that it was written, was referring to each other as queen and king. And what does that mean to everybody? Do you know what I mean? Do we all think that it means the same thing? And then on top of that, since we're not, I don't think that there's like a consensus about what we mean when we say queen. A lot of people think it's about, being a black queen or being a black king and all of that entails. But what do we really mean when we say that?
Hmm.
And
I think
for
it, I
me,
think I think that a lot of people, as they say, we like to regurgitate things that we hear.
hmm
So we'll say it, and maybe when the first person that started using it as a phrase was saying it as a motivation, because a
hmm
person may be down themselves, like, yo, you gotta realize who you are, like step into your greatness,
right,
step, as we say, journey to your throne.
yes,
As a king, step into your kingdom. Now, a kingdom could be, it could be their subjects, maybe in their home, that could be their throne. So, like you said, a lot of people can interpret it a lot of different ways. It's just amazing how like we get so accustomed to just saying out the phrase, peace, king. What's up, queen? That's my queen. But are we treating each other as such, or are we treating ourselves as such?
that's the
Better yet.
question. That's the question. Are we treating ourselves as such? And, in order to know if you're treating yourself in that way, you have to be clear on what that really means. And I think at this point, it means different things to different people. And so, what I'm hoping to bring to everyone is kind of an understanding that, if you're referring to yourself or we're referring to each other as kings and queens, there's some responsibility behind that. And that responsibility begins with how we treat ourselves.
So everybody in the chat, I mean, respond and ask, what is your gift? What is your gift? Miss Carla said her gift was getting in trouble. King said, my gift is manifesting energy to bring things to life.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So King's gift is the energy, the positive energy to bring things to life. Um, Hold on.
Manifestations.
What's up, Dre? Andre said hello, Julia.
Hey, Dre.
So King said his gift is to manifest energy to bring things to life.
Right. That's deep. That's dope.
So based off of his gift could never be down. So
Never.
he can never have a down day. He can't. He gotta bring everything. He gotta bring to life. So that which is dead, he gotta bring to life. So his his strength should be more in um the realm of, let's say, the type of job he has. Like me and the type of job he has. Um,
hmm
how being around our seniors, and they're at a point in their lives where they might not be able to take care of themselves. How every day he has to take his spirit and his energy and be give them some type of hope.
Be present for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he
Dre
does
said
have to be okay.
Dre said his gift
hmm
is helping others.
Nice.
King said again, he
Beautiful.
said, because I will recalibrate my mindset.
You have to recalibrate your mindset. All of the
Yeah,
things that come towards us in a day, you have to be able to
you mess
balance
around
your
and
energy.
crash.
Right. You
You
have to
mess
be
around
able
and
to balance your
crash.
energy. That's dope. So
Yeah,
I
so this
hate to,
go
huh?
ahead, Joy. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
I wasn't saying
Kristen.
nothing. I wasn't saying
um,
nothing.
I think we have, a few responses. Carla said she was a genius at something or at everything, and Joel said that his gift was being able to manifest and bring things to life. And Dre said that his was helping other people. What's your gift, Quentin?
My gift is me. And I'm not saying I know it may come off as uh arrogant, I don't say that in an arrogant way. I mean, because I believe that each if you believe that your gift is you, you're probably the most self-reproaching person there is. You might be a perfectionist. You might always judge yourself. So you have, in my opinion, you just got to be very critical on yourself. Um, you got to be selfless. Like Andre said, you have to be one of those people that love to help people, in spite of whether they could help themselves. So you just got to just be like, ugh. You know how we say nowadays, I do it for the culture. Some people say that and they really be hustlers of the culture. We ain't gonna get into that because that's a whole different show. But
Right.
you just gotta be like selfless. Like, yo, what makes you happy? If you really can say and you really believe in your heart that what makes you happy is to seeing others and other people around you happy and helping them reaching their potential, that will drive you. And back to like what King said about the recalibration,
Mhm.
sometimes you'll get so caught up with helping other people that you will can lose yourself.
Absolutely.
So then you
Absolutely.
gotta go. Then you gotta say, you know what? Yeah, do I really want to help people? Because if you really want to help people, it's gonna be tested. Like I'm a firm believer, Julia, is that when you say something out your mouth, and you put it in the atmosphere, nature has a way of
Fulfilling
testing
it.
testing you and fulfilling what you're saying. So if you
Exactly.
so like for a person that may be spiritual or religious, they'll say, "Oh, I got strong faith." Oh, you do?
Right.
So now if you believe in the creator gonna send you a test that's gonna test that faith that you got so strong in.
Exactly.
So I'm a firm believer that when you say something, when you manifest it verbally, and you put it out there, that now you're gonna have to do it. So if you're saying you're gonna help people, you may have to help a total stranger. You may have to help somebody that you don't particularly like. So now
Absolutely.
what's going on? So
Exactly.
we had a couple other people saying it. My friend Vernon, he said his gift is comedy, acting, writing. Yeah, he's been doing comedy for a while. He's got a short movie coming out, and I got to get Vernon on the show. He's very good brother.
Hi,
Very good
Fern.
brother.
Good evening. Thanks for
You know,
being with us.
I know Vernon believes in his own dreams, but I need Vernon to understand that we pulling for you, brother, and we hope that you have as much success as you want, and we can't wait till this movie drop.
Woo!
DKB said the power of life and death is in the tongue. Yeah,
Yes,
you're
it
right.
is. Yes, it is. Good evening, DKB.
Dre said I'm a mental counselor now, and it's nothing but helping people. Jobs like that choose you. You don't pick them.
That's true. It leads you
Yeah,
along the path.
they definitely ain't financially rewarding. Just just have your Tylenol on your desk at all times.
Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for answering the question about what your gift is.
Got one more.
One more?
Eric said my gift is discerning the truth.
That's a powerful gift. That's a powerful gift. Good evening, Eric. I know that serves you in many ways. You have to be able to identify the truth. Hi. So keep going, Q. This is your superpower. Oh, that's
Thanks,
beautiful.
Vern. Appreciate that.
The power of the tongue is in the mind by what's in it. Excellent point, because that takes us directly into chapter 1. So in chapter 1, there is conversation about the power of the tongue. And with everything that everybody has said, about your gifts, the way it's imagined in the book, like the comedy, the writing, the acting, helping others, being honest with yourself. Good evening. Being honest with yourself. We consider those to be gifts, and they are. Those are the things that we offer to the world, right? But As we're going on this journey to our throne, the first thing is to recognize and realize that we are our gift. We are our gift. We are our own gift. We are the ones who allow for that comedy and that acting and that writing to come forth. That comes forth from us. And being able to help others, it comes from us. And so that's the first part, like before we even go onto the journey, is understanding that you are a gift. You are your own first and best and most wonderful gift. And so what does that mean? How do you, like you were saying before, Quentin, if you're calling yourself a queen or a king, or you're understanding that you are your gift, and how are you treating yourself, and how are you allowing others to treat you? Because if others are not treating you as if you are that gift, that can impact those things that you offer to the world. Taking care of the elderly, helping other people, having this platform, for being artistic and making people laugh and enjoy, life. So the first jewel in the crown is understanding that you are your gift.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think that we never want to say that parenting, and I hope I'm not going too far, that parenting comes with how we say an instructional kit? But you think, and the reason why I say that is because, do you think that if we would have, most of us would have been directed at a younger age with understanding our gift, that we wouldn't have wasted a lot of times? Like you always hear, like for example, a person does a career for 30, 40 years, and that career has always took care of them, provided for them in ways and means, and then they really don't do something until they love, until they just take that leap of faith and just jump. And it's like, okay, now you finally doing something that you love. You may not even be getting paid as much, but now you're doing what you love to do. And this is why I said that about the parenting. But sometimes as a parent, you gotta, you steer your child. I want you to go to college. I want you to get a good education, and I want you to get a good job. Now you could say that to your child all the time until the child eventually loves that. However, on their personal journey, and being who they are, like Andre said, that the life, sometimes your life chooses you, your career chooses you. Do you think that we should, definitely dealing with our younger people, we should look at them and like look at their artistic value and be like, you know what, this cat can really sing. Like, let me put some money behind his voice and be like, get him into singing classes, and understand like this is what they want to do. Because a lot of times, like I said, that the parent chooses a career path for the child. You
I
know,
think that before they even look at nurturing that talent, that they should help that child to understand that that child himself or that child herself is a gift. They're a gift to the world, so that that they understand it is. So that, thank you, Vern, so that they understand that that's true.
Julia, you could just finish talking. I'll let you know if it's a question. I'm
Okay.
just putting the comments up.
So where I'm going is, I think that sometimes as parents want their children to be successful. They want them to be stable. They want them to be happy. And so they might direct them in a certain way. But what the book tries to solidify is that before you start talking about what talents you have, what skills you have, what interests you have, what passions you have, recognize yourself, recognize that child as the gift all by itself. A lot of times people are not able to pursue their talents or to pursue their passions because they don't understand how valuable they are. Like you have to have a level of self-esteem, a level of self-love, a level of self-care, And how do you develop that? You develop that by understanding that you're special and that you're unique and that you're priceless, right? And, because if you don't understand that, everything after that is just going to be difficult, a challenge.
Because what happens is a person will go a lifetime without understanding their gift. And I use a woman for example, because she may bear the brunt of most of the stuff in the home. She's got two kids, got a career she's got to juggle, got to be the, as we say, matriarch of the home. Things may not even be going right with her and her husband, and then like she may get to a point in her life or a certain age where she done sacrificed everything. She done felt like, yo, I never even had no me time. I never even got a chance to enjoy who I really was and understanding my gifts and doing all this and doing all that. And because of the kids, because of my husband, because I wanted to have provide a good home or establish a good home instead of the house method. She established a good home, and now it's like she's at that age where she's like, you know what? I got a lot of grays. It's time for me to do me.
Hmm. Mhm. It happens. It
And you
happens, but
and,
it's
and you
like
and you see it, and you see it. Unfortunately, you see it more times than not. That learning, most people don't see their gift until maybe it's too late.
they don't see that they are the gift until it's too late. They don't see that they
Yeah.
are the gift until it's too late. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was talking about the difference between self-esteem and self-worth. And he was saying, just think about this when you hear,
Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
just going to make this point. Um, he was talking about the difference between self-esteem and self-worth. And what he said is that when it comes to self-esteem, that's your understanding of how other people perceive you. And based on how you understand other people perceive you, that can determine how you value yourself. And
Okay.
so like the point here is like it's okay to take people's feedback or criticism or comments with a grain of salt, because no one can tell you who you are or how fabulous you are, how wonderful you are, how amazing you are. You have to know that for yourself so that when those things come in, when you hear those things, you're not derailed by them, or you don't become so consumed with them that you forget how valuable and precious and awesome you are and what you do have to offer, to the world. So it's like you gotta stay focused, and this first part is critical to everything else that we discussed, because without that self-worth, everything else can become a little bit more difficult.
I'm gonna just read something that you wrote in the book.
Okay.
You said, and this is you actually started off with this. It has been
Mhm.
said from time throughout eternity that we each have purpose. Purpose is fulfilled either by design or by choice, and not at all. Each of us have found our own way into our current lifestyle. Some of us believe that it is psychological, cultural, and economic factors, such as the race of our parents, the homes we grew up in, our level of education, and those silent factors that we dare not speak of that have led us to where we are today. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
What? Yes, it is
So
necessary.
what, when
Hi,
you when
Gina.
you when you was explaining, like, for those in the chat, just to give y'all some brief history of the essence of this book is that Julia went through her own journey with reclaiming her throne. And in her own journey of reclaiming her throne, she decided to write this book, Crown Rules: A Woman's Journey to the Throne. And the book is written, the first edition of the book is written like a workbook where it's lessons in the book for the woman or the man that chooses to buy the book and go on this journey, where it's a self-reclaiming book, a self-rediscovery book, to understand that you are the gift and to understand your self-worth. Chapter 2. Second edition is in Amazon as we speak, and what we're doing is we're basically going through the book as more of a virtual book club, and to try to engage and get everybody that's in the chat to come along with us. And this is why we it may appear that we're having like a conversation within a conversation. So I don't want to
Yeah.
confuse nobody of what I had just read and where I had got it from. That was in the
Hmm.
opening of her book.
Yeah, it was like
Oh, DKB, look what DKB put. I'm about to break out my jewelry cleaner
I wish you the
and polish
crown.
my
That's
own crown. So, Julia, you did that the other day. You spoke about that the other day,
right.
where you went to the store and asked for some jewelry cleaner.
So we're in the season of Lent. And usually during Lent, I decide to give up something. And it's usually food based. One time I tried to give up cursing. I think I lasted like 7 days. But this time I decided I wanted to do something different. This time I decided that, hey, Gina,
Gina
this
Storm,
time I just,
I'll send you the link to purchase the book after the show. It's on Amazon. If you look up Julia's name on Amazon, Crown Rules: A Woman's Journey to the Throne. That's on. It's on Amazon as we speak, and it'll pop up as soon as you put her name in there. Excuse me, Julie. Go ahead.
that's okay. So this Lenten season, I decided that I was going to give up being judgmental. And I also decided that I was going to not be upset if someone didn't meet my immediate need, because I realized that, like, I pay attention to what I'm thinking. And I realized that during this pandemic, especially like the whole 6 foot distance thing, like being in the supermarket and people trying to be all on top of you, like my mental conversation was on 1,000. So getting upset and all of this. So I decided that, I'm not going to judge. If I feel like my space is being violated, I'm going to move. And I'm not going to be upset if people don't meet my needs or meet my expectations at the time I need them to be met. So I go
Hmm.
to a local store to get some jewelry cleaner. And I always try to be cheerful. And I approached the lady and I asked if she had jewelry cleaner and if they had jewelry cleaner. And she told me no, they didn't have jewelry cleaner because they didn't sell jewelry, which didn't make sense to me because the market has, in my mind, you have milk, you have butter, but you don't have cows. You have brooms and you have mops, but you don't sell floors. So that doesn't make sense to me, right? So I go and I decide to like walk around the store and just look. And it was not an obvious place. It was like in a very obscure place, but I was able to
You
find
take
it.
your index finger and go across the top. Did it have a little dust on it?
No, it was just placed there. So that must not have been her area. But I decided not to, get upset about that. And some people that are familiar with the story, they were like, "Oh, I would have took the cleaner back and showed it to her and showed her what." No, I don't want to use my energy in that way. Eventually, she'll see it and she'll be able to tell somebody that they have it, right? But that's like the whole thing about, for me, respecting myself as a gift. I
I'm
get
gonna.
to
I want.
decide.
Go ahead.
I get to decide how I want to use my energy, and nobody can tell me how to do that
I
or
want to.
criticize
I want
me in a choice.
I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat a question. We know that the first question that we asked was, "What is your gift?" I want to ask, how is your gift contingent upon another person? How is your gift and contingent upon another person? I know that we said that some of our gifts is to help other people. So if it's no people around and we're introvert type of people, um, we kind of like miserable because we need those people to help to help us with our gifts. So it's kind of like a catch 22 with it when we try to use other people as part of our gift. So this is why Julia said in the book that your gift is you. So you have to carve out being alone. One of the things that with the pandemic that it has done is it has created us to learn how to really probably be by ourselves. I know a lot of people who are married who the pandemic kind of hurt their marriage because now they have to be home with their mate. And they were probably never really home, and the mate time was probably dinner to go out, and it was always something to do. But now you in the house looking at each other in the four walls. And how I asked that if how were you guys handling that really aren't used to being by yourself and really discovering who you are. Um, I think that one of the things that Julia discovered when she was going through her journey, and then before putting pen to paper, was finding out who she was. Not who everybody like we talk about upbringing, not who everybody expected her to be, not who she was as a wife, not who she was as a daughter, a granddaughter, a cousin, but really understanding who she is and what makes her tick and what makes her happy. Because we always say happiness comes from within. So uh, we ask that if we love to enjoy to help people, I know that like the James Baldwin statement when he says he's in a constant state of rage. I know that when you're the type of person that love to help people, you always got to have these self talks with yourself. And Julia knows what I'm talking about because you got to be like, you know what? They don't see what I'm trying to do. I need somebody to. You're gonna need somebody to vent it. So Dre said during the pandemic, it made his marriage even better.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Show
King
love
said,
without
"Show love
looking
without
for
looking for a
return.
return." Eric said, It isn't other than engaging the response or receiving it. You can be discouraged if you gauge your effectiveness and purpose by their response." Interesting. I could never get enough of my queen.
Nice.
King says self love,
Hmm.
soul effect. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm the type of person like what. I'm gonna just ask this question. Let me rephrase it. What does I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat? What do you do for solitude? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do by yourself that you don't need no other human being to help you with? What do you do, Julia?
I do everything. I I have especially during this time, I have found I have over the last year, I have of course gone back to the books that were written, and seeing them with a new perspective and a new lens has allowed me to add more motivation and positivity and just love to them. So I know that I've created that within myself. So that was good to know. The other thing is I've learned that I really, really love technology. Like I always have done presentations in my work life, but I love technology and just creating new things. I've just been on like a creative spurt. Like I can't get enough of it. And then I also I also enjoy being around people who treat me as if I am a gift. It
Mm,
makes me feel better. It encourages me, it motivates me, it allows me to be be more of myself, to be better. So I'm making sure to like build those connections, and not being afraid to make new connections, because sometimes we can stay stuck within our tribe, and sometimes it's helpful to just connect with different people so that you can, understand different aspects of yourself and give yourself to people in other ways. So, and cooking.
Yeah. One of the things is funny because I'm like, most people don't know, except a few. I'm an avid reader. So the pandemic kind of hurt me from going to. Now, I go to my Barnes and Noble probably once every 3 weeks. I might go on Barnes and Noble to walk around, get a magazine, or to get a book or whatever. So I go on Barnes and Noble. But it really hurt me from going to the bookstore that I like that's in Jersey. But the way that I read and the way that I help myself read, which is weird, and people always think this is different. I can't read one book at a time. I have to read two or three different books at a time. So I'll be, got my little thing here. I'll be in like my little Let's Talk bookmark, right? So
It has a
now,
whole bunch of
so
let's talk
I'll be reading
items.
like two or three books at a time. Like right now, right? I got two different magazines that I'm reading at the same time on those sports magazines, and I'm reading them literally at the same time. I read 10 pages of one, think about what I read, then I read 10 pages of the other, and I got to do that with books. So I probably read since the pandemic like honestly, like two or three books, and that's not a lot for me. I'm one of them people that know how to deal with certain amount of solitude prior to the pandemic, but I know how it is for a lot of people that never dealt with being by themselves before the pandemic.
Hmm.
So the pandemic didn't do it really didn't change how I go about my business now with having my time, like you said in the book, understanding your gift and understanding like just you setting aside that important time for you to recalibrate. And like King said, to recalibrate your mind, recalibrate your thoughts, be able to not bring work home, homework, and dealing with the world, as they say, dealing with the world on the world's terms.
Right, which I hope many people have been able to do. And if they haven't been able to do that, this book or the other book can serve as one of many guides to help you on that journey. I think one of the things that the pandemic has allowed is for people to like not only maybe spend time with themselves to understand themselves, but also kind of look at like their relationships and look at their goals, and spend some time on that. And then one of the things that I've been like focusing on lately is perspective and motivation, because I think sometimes people can get feel like they're stuck in a rut, and you have to be able to kind of push yourself forward. So my saying lately is like, I'm moving from never to not yet to now. Because I think sometimes people kind of, including myself, kind of think, oh, this will never happen. Right. So I'm moving my mind state from the never happened to it hasn't happened yet. It's not yet. Right. And then when I get to that not yet point, I start thinking about, okay, well, what can I do to make it happen now? And just following that process, if it's in my power to, following that process is getting me motivated and keeping me positive and keeping me going, because this time can be a very difficult time if you're not able to go to places you're used to going, or be with the people you're used to being with. It can be very challenging, and you have to keep yourself motivated. You have to have something to look forward to and something to enjoy, and the first thing that you can enjoy is yourself and who you are.
King said one thing to learn is to recycle and distorted energy that doesn't feel the spirit.
Absolutely.
So you told me to get this clip that we're gonna play.
I don't want
Of
to play it. I don't think it goes. I don't think it goes with the conversation, Quentin.
now you reneging.
I'm reneging.
I have another clip. I have the special clip, the other clip, the dancing clip.
Oh no, that's not necessary. Not necessary, not needed, not required.
Oh, your facial
Not
expression.
necessary.
Your facial expression was like, oh no, oh no, oh. I mean,
Actually,
I believe that the video does speak about that because, in spite of all that she been through, she realized she was the gift.
let's roll it.
She was the gift, and it's funny that you got me to play her because it's funny that you sent me the clip that I'm gonna play because I think that she's the best actress.
She's the most nominated African American woman ever.
So
Ever.
before the video, because it's owned by Goldcast, so we going to say our copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is as use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So we're gonna watch this clip. It's pretty decent, about 5 minutes, and we're gonna talk about this clip afterwards.
Let me tell you about the time and the day that I died. I had a memory when I was 9 years old, and I remember my parents fighting in the middle of the night. My older sister, Diane, told me to go in the house or people would hear me. So I ran in the house. I ran to the bathroom screaming still, just couldn't stop, and got down on my knees and closed my eyes. I put my hands together and said, God, if you exist, if you love me, you'll take me away from this life. Now I'm gonna count to 10, and when I open my eyes, I wanna be gone. You hear me? And I opened my eyes, and I was still there.
On top of that, your father also was an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
And he beat your mother. So you had to live with that abuse as well. What kind of a scar has that left in terms of dealing with that? What did you do as a child as you saw your father beating your mother?
The only thing I knew how to do was to just stand there and be frightened, and to go to school with that trauma, to go to school being hungry, to go to school smelling.
How did you rise out of that anger of the injustice?
Oh my God. I don't necessarily feel like I'm out of the anger. He left me right there, so when I gained vision and strength and forgiveness, I can remember what it means to be a child who was hungry. I could remember what it means to be in trauma. I could remember poverty, alcoholism. I could remember what it means to be a child who dreams and sees no physical manifestation of it. I could remember because I lived it. I was there. We would go to bed and hear rats killing the pigeons in the roof. I mean, loud, squealing noises. We would wrap our sheets around our necks at night because the rats would crawl through holes in the wall, and you could hear them eating our toys at night and jumping on top of our beds. I always say that I was a bedwetter until I was 14. And I did everything to get food. I've stolen for food. I've jumped in huge garbage bins with maggots for food. And I sacrificed a childhood for food and grew up in immense shame. The one thing that I learned when I was poor, and this is something that people just need to say out loud, okay, is that you are invisible. Nobody sees you. You know, they say that the two most important days in a person's life is the day you were born and the day you discover why you were born. I absolutely knew I wanted to be an actor because I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to dream big and make a mark somehow. What is that one element that literally helps that kid who has nothing achieve ultimate success? What is that one factor? And they always say it's one person who was a mentor. I saw Miss Cicely Tyson in the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, and I saw a physical manifestation of a dream. I saw something that I could put my feet on the floor when I got out of bed in the morning, and I had a passion that could drive me. Just drive, that's it. But at 28, I crashed and burned because emotionally I didn't get out. But as much as I didn't want to be my mother's daughter, I was very much my mother's daughter. I was still very much traumatized by the past. I very much was that little girl running from 8 to 9 boys who were always calling me, "You black, ugly you're ugly, you're black, you're this." It still very much was internalized in me, and it manifested itself through low self-esteem, through bad relationships, with not believing in myself.
How did you get out of that darkness into the light, into the dream?
Two things, okay? Number one, there's a difference between having a goal and having a purpose. It's a vision for a future that is living a life that is heroic. The other part of it is understanding your mortality, that you have a dash of time, and what do you want to do? How do you want to run this leg of your race? Everybody in this room, I'm sure at some point, has gone through something in their lives, and you've survived it.
Wow. So let me read it again. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research for fair use, as is permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. I mean, just by learning and understanding some of her story, I mean, a lot of times some of us may be able to identify with what she was saying, but surviving and knowing that you're your gift, that you are the gift, a lot of people don't survive that. A lot of people don't are still in that rut or still not having that opportunity to have that self discover or rediscover who they truly their purpose was. And she explained that when she said knowing the difference between your purpose and your dream.
Mhm.
It is very important, and you didn't think that the video was good for the show. You thought the conversation had wanted a little different.
I, I'm glad that we showed it. Sometimes I'm concerned about like going too deep, right? Because although we have people in the chat who recognize their uniqueness and their specialness and
Hmm.
their their contribution to their own life and to the world, we do have some people who are still struggling. And I don't like to touch wounds, but if a wound has been touched, I think I'm glad that we showed the video, because what just hit me was she was the gift when she was laying in the bed with the sheets around her neck so that the rats wouldn't bite her. And she was the gift when she had to dig in the garbage for food. And she was the gift, when people were telling her that she was not. She was always the gift. It didn't just happen because she found her purpose. Everything that she is today has always been inside of her. And like, we need to respect that and understand that too. Like, there's no question of never. It might not be not yet, or but we can make it now. Hey
Yeah.
Gina, absolutely, very powerful, very powerful. Exactly. Absolutely. That PO. Right. And you know what? Even if you're not aware of your purpose, you are still the gift. And you have to know that, because as you keep going, you might eventually identify what that is.
And we're going to close the show for tonight. We're going to leave it just like that. You are your gift. With that, we want to thank everybody for joining us this week. We appreciate you guys. And what is next week's show, Julia? What's the topic next week?
The topic next week is coming from chapter number 2. And chapter number 2, give me 1 second. I got caught up. I'm supposed to have this ready, Quincy. Your priorities. The future is now. That's right. Your priorities.
Your priorities. That'll be next week's show. We want to thank everybody in the chat. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, remember to like and share. Give us that love emoji if you love the show. Give us the like emoji if you like the show. But just don't give us the dislike emoji. but remember to like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word that what we do each week is go over Julia's first book, her daughter, Crown Rules, A Woman's Journey to the Throne. With that, you guys, we appreciate you guys for joining us this week. And we'll take you out with a special video.
Okay.
So often we are referred to as queen. But have you ever stopped to admire the beauty of your crown? Let's talk Crown Rules. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. with your hosts Quentin Ford and myself,